your face in the mirror? Is it visible on the still surface of water also? Can you tell me the reason that why we can see our image in the mirror or on the still surface of water? The reason for that is due to the reflection of light. I know that you might have learned that what is light? Light is basically a form of energy. Now what does reflection of light means? See, as I am throwing a ball on a wall, so what will happen? The wall will basically apply a force on the ball and it will revert back me the ball. So this means that if I am throwing the ball on the wall will be applying the force and ball will be basically bouncing the ball back on me. Similarly, things are happening for the light rays. What happens when we are having the source of light, the light rays will be falling on an object and that object will basically bounce back the light rays, and this phenomena is basically known as reflection of light. Due to reflection of light only, we can see various objects. In your class 4th or 5, you might have learned that there are two types of object. One are luminous object and other are non-luminous object. Luminous objects are the objects that give their own light, like sun, like stars, like Juggnu. They are having their own light. They can give their own light, and due to the presence of their own light, you can see those objects. Electric bulb is also an example of the luminous object. A candle is also an example of luminous object. But how can we see non-luminous objects that do not have their own light, like human beings, like trees, or any non-living things? So we can see those objects with the help of reflection of light. And what is reflection of light? Reflection of light means that bouncing back of the light rays falling on an object is known as reflection of light. Now with the help of a diagrammatic view, I will tell you that there are two laws of reflection. So this is basically a diagrammatic view of reflection. This is basically our plane mirror and this hashes are basically showing the polished side. Now what happened? This ray, as the arrow is indicating, this ray is basically falling on an object. So this ray is basically known as incident ray, and the ray that is basically getting bounced back is known as what? Reflected ray, as the arrow is also showing you that it is getting bounced back. Now I have drawn a perpendicular line along the mirror and that ray is known as what? Normal ray. Okay, so in reflection we will be dealing with the three type of ray, that is incident ray, reflected ray and the normal ray. The angle between the incident ray and the normal ray is known as angle of incidence and it is geometrically denoted as angle I, whereas the angle between the normal ray and the reflected ray is basically known as angle R. In the case of the reflection, angle I will always be equal to angle R. So this is basically the first law of reflection, that angle I will always be equal to angle R. In exam, you might be asked that if any case angle I is equals to 60 degree, what will be the value of angle R? So angle R will always be equal to 60 degree. They may ask you vice versa also, that if the value of angle R is 60, so what will be the angle I value? That will also be 60. So this means that in the case of reflection, the first law is angle I is always equals to angle R. The second law states that the incident ray, the normal ray and the reflected ray, they will all lie on the same plane and they will meet at a point that is known as O, or you can more specifically call it as point of incidence. What it is known as? It is known as point of incidence. So these are the two rays of laws of reflection. First is angle I will always be equal to angle R, and all the three rays, that is incident ray, normal ray and reflected ray, will be meeting on the same plane and at the same point that is known as O, or more specifically point of incidence.